Friends, I welcome you to my channel. Before listening to this story, I will ask you to like and subscribe. It is not difficult for you, but it is pleasant for me. And we're starting. I grew up in the Midwest. I think it was a pretty normal childhood. No serious drama, just the usual nonsense that children learn to deal with. I really don't remember much from my early childhood, but I remember meeting Jimmy Rollins well. Jimmy's family moved into a house in the next block. I think it was the summer between 6th and 7th grade, so I think we were both about 13 years old. I saw Jimmy loitering around the playground as I rode by on my bike. One day I was coming home and saw Jimmy running down the street. He was being chased by a couple of older kids I didn't know. I saw Jimmy turn into a vacant lot and then stumble and fall. The older children pounced on him in the blink of an eye, kicking and shouting at him. He got up and tried to resist, but the other kids were bigger and they beat him pretty hard. I didn't like what I saw. I hated bullies and unfair fights. I drove my bike as fast as I could. I ran into a vacant lot and jumped off my bike. "Leave him alone, you assholes," I said with as much emphasis as I could muster. The two older boys looked at me and stepped back a little. "It's none of your business, kid." "Yes, but I'm doing it my own way." "Get the hell away from him." "Fuck you, man. Get out of here if you know what's best for you." I pounced on the taller one and knocked him to the ground. We spun around a bit, and I managed to punch him in the stomach. He grunted and rolled away. We both got to our feet. I snapped it over my left ear, and it marked me on my shoulder. We stepped back, and I grinned at him. I think that smirk bothered him because he grabbed his buddy, pulled him away, and they both ran down the street. Jimmy was getting up slowly, so I grabbed him and lifted him up. He had a bruise under his left eye, and his lip was split. I looked at him while he was recovering. "Are you okay, dude?" "Yes, thanks to you. I'm fine." He looked at me and then held out his hand. "I'm Jimmy." I shook his hand. "Mike?" "Dude, what does this all mean? Why are they bothering you?" "They got mad when I exposed their cheating when we were playing b-ball." Okay, Jimmy, do you live near here? Do you need help getting home?" "No, Mike, I'm fine. I live in the next block." "Okay, well, see you later." "Yeah, okay." "Hey, Mike, do you want to hang out sometime?" "Of course, that would be cool. I usually finish my business around this time. So I'll meet you here tomorrow and we can go to my house." That's how Jimmy Rollins and I became best friends. We were buddies all through high school and even played baseball together in high school. After graduating from high school, Jimmy went to work for his father in an electronics store. I went to a local community college, but didn't succeed, dropped out and joined the Army. Jimmy saw me off and made me promise to visit him when I got back. My 4 years in the Army flew by pretty quickly. I ended up spending some time doing things I didn't really want to do. I must have been very good at what I was doing, or they had no choice, because the Army was offering me all sorts of shit to continue. I declined their offers and was about to head home when I met a bounty hunter for a private group. It turned out that the band was doing some specialized work in foreign countries and was willing to pay me a lot of money if I signed a 2-year contract. I signed it. Before I left, I decided that I needed to relax a little. I had plenty of cash, so I tried to check into a nice hotel. The place was crowded, and in order for them to find me a room, I had to put pressure on the fact that I had just left the Army. They said they were busy because of the nurses' convention. I noticed a lot of pretty ladies in the lobby, but I thought it was just because it was in Miami. I spent quite a lot of time on the beach and lounging by the pool. The nightlife was noisy and vibrant. Most of the clubs were full of nurses and other tourists. I met a couple of ladies and even managed to sleep with them one night. On Thursday evening, I was at one of the small and quiet clubs. I noticed 3 pretty ladies sitting at a table and watched them for a few minutes. There was a pretty constant parade of guys coming up to their table looking for dance partners. I finally drank enough to get up the courage to come to the table. The blonde lifted her head and smiled at me. I smiled at her and then turned around and asked the cute little brunette to dance. I think I caught her off guard. She choked on her drink, and I leaned over and patted her on the back. "Are you okay? I didn't mean to scare you." She pulled herself together, wiping her chin. "I'm fine. I just assumed you were going to ask Debbie to dance. You kinda caught me off guard." "Oh, does that mean you don't want to dance with me?" "I promise that I will try very hard not to scare you anymore." I smiled and held out my hand. She looked up and gave me a sweet dimpled smile, and then grabbed my hand. "I'd love to," she said, getting up. The DJ was playing some fast music, and she was a very good dancer. She moved with grace and ease, and I really enjoyed watching her body move to the beat of the music. The music slowed down, and we moved together. I was a little unsure at first, but as the song progressed, it allowed me to pull her closer. She felt very good in my arms as we swayed to the beat of the music. When the song ended, she stepped back a little and gave me another dimpled smile. "You are a really good dancer. Thank you for asking me to dance." "No, you're a great dancer. I was just trying to keep up. Can I buy you a drink?" She tilted her head to the side as if she was trying to make a decision. "Sure. Why don't you come back to our table and I'll introduce you to my friends." When we reached the table, Debbie was being led away to another dance by another young stallion. We sat down, and the barmaid appeared next to us. I ordered drinks for the ladies and a gin and tonic for myself. I turned to my dancing partner and held out my hand. "My name is Michael. My friends call me Mike." "Nice to meet you, Mike." "My name is Amy, and my friend's name is Nora." As soon as she said that, a guy came up to Nora and asked her to dance. Debbie was on the dance floor, so it was just the two of us. I leaned over to her and asked if she was local. She told me that she lives in Ohio, and here she is participating in a nursing convention. She said that they are held every 2 years, and this is her second visit. I told her that I had just left the Army and was in Miami for some research and development before starting my new job. She asked about it, and I told her that I was being hired as a consultant. We chatted a little and danced a few times. The slow dancing was amazing. Amy dissolved into me, and I'm sure she felt my boner. We went back to the table, and Debbie and Nora whispered something to Amy. After a few moments, they gathered up their wallets and the two guys led them away. "Have your friends decided to end this evening?" Not really. They told me they were taking the guys to our room at the Hilton." Amy didn't seem too happy about this turn of events. Her smile disappeared, and she stared into her glass. "Amy, I don't want to be too blunt, but I'm staying at the Hilton too, and there's a nice little cafe next to the lobby. Do you want to go there and have a cup of coffee?" Amy seemed to tense up a little, but then she relaxed and said, "Of course, Mike. A cup of coffee is great." We walked 2 blocks to our hotel, and Amy said she was a little mad at her roommates because it was the second time they brought guys to the room. That meant she'd have to stay in the lobby until the guys left. It's really none of my business, but how do they know you're not bringing a guy either?" Amy blushed deeply. Well, they know I can't do this." "I understand." "Well, it seems to me rather inconsiderate on their part." We sipped coffee and time passed. At midnight, the coffee shop closed and we were kicked out. We went into the lobby and Amy sent a few messages. "Mike, you're being very noble, but you don't have to babysit me. I'll be fine here until they text me." "Nonsense. You are a beautiful and charming lady. I am pleased to be with you." Amy blushed again. "Mike, you're such a sweet guy. I'm really glad you asked me to dance." Again, I'm not trying to be too intrusive, but we could go up to my room and wait until everything is clean. I promise it's not a prank or anything like that." Amy tilted her head again and stared into my eyes. I think I can trust you. So okay, let's go to your room." We entered my room, and Amy plopped down on the couch and took off her shoes. That's better." I opened the small refrigerator and took out 2 bottles of water. While Amy sipped her drink, I sat on the floor in front of her and picked up a tiny foot. I started massaging my foot, and Amy cooed. I worked on her leg and then started working on her muscular calf, making sure I stopped near her knee. While I was working on the other leg, Amy said, "Oh my God, Mike, please don't stop. It's a divine feeling." "Don't worry, your pleasure is music to my ears. Just tell me when you've had enough." "Oh, this will never happen. Oh my God, this is heaven. I think I'm going to write to these fools and tell them I'm staying here." I grinned at him. "Well, you can stay, of course, without any conditions." Amy tilted her head again and looked down at me. "Do you have an extra t-shirt?" "Yes, big enough to wear like a dress." I jumped up and pulled it out of the drawer. Amy grabbed her purse, took the proffered t-shirt, and went to the bathroom. She came out 10 minutes later. I was right. The damn t-shirt went down a few inches below the knees. She seemed pleased with that. The t-shirt was long, but quite thin. I texted the girls to let them know where I am and that I'll be back early in the morning. Mike, aren't you going to change? I knew I had shorts hanging on the bathroom door, so I smiled and went into the bathroom. When I came out, Amy was in bed, and I slipped in next to her. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm in bed with a guy I met just a few hours ago. Please tell me that you are the gentleman I think you are, and that I won't regret it. I smiled, bent down, and kissed the top of her head. Good night, Amy. Don't forget to set the alarm. I woke up a few hours later lying on my back. Amy snuggled up to me. I could feel the heat of her crotch pressed against my thigh. Her breathing was slow and rhythmic, so I knew she was asleep. Eventually, I fell asleep again. I heard the alarm on Amy's phone and felt her move. I was lying on my back again, and Amy had her arms around my waist, resting her head on my shoulder. As the alarm clock continued to ring, Amy slowly raised her head and put her hand on my chest. I looked down at her pretty face surrounded by a shock of hair. Good morning, beautiful. Did you sleep well? Stunned, Amy rolled away from my body and turned off the alarm. She flopped back down again. Oh my God. I slept like a baby. I haven't slept so well since we got here. I smiled at her. Do you want to go have breakfast? Or can I order something here? Oh, thanks, but I have to fly. Mike, do you mind if I take your t-shirt? I don't want to bother dressing up in these club clothes. I promised to bring her back. Of course. No problem. How about I invite you to dinner when your band is done? Could you just meet me here and give me the t-shirt? She tilted her head again. Okay, I'll see you then. Amy jumped up, grabbed her things, and came to my side of the bed. She leaned over and gave me a quick kiss on the lips. See you around 6:30. When the door closed behind her, I looked at the bed. The sheet was stretched well over my crotch, and I realized that Amy had definitely seen it. Well, damn it. She didn't seem to be scared. Of course she's a nurse. I washed my face, then put on my sneakers and went for my daily 2-mile run. Back in the room, I ordered a brunch and jumped into the shower. The room service trolley was in the room when I came out of the bathroom. After about an hour, I decided to explore the area a bit. I stopped at the front desk and asked the young lady to recommend a good restaurant. She smiled broadly at me and asked, "Are we talking about a romantic anniversary or an impressive first date meeting?" Well, it's a first date, but I'm not trying to confuse her. I'm just looking for a quiet place to eat and talk. She picked up the phone and asked what time I wanted to have dinner, and I replied that it's 7 o'clock. She nodded, then spoke into the phone. "Richard, dear, this is Cindy. Could you give me a double table with a view from the window at 7 o'clock? Thank you. My love. My guest is Mr. Stevens. Please take good care of him." She wrote the information about the restaurant on a card and handed it to me. "It's just a few blocks up the street. Do you need to order a car, or will you walk?" I think we'll walk." "Thank you, Miss Jones. You have helped me a lot. Please call me Cindy. I hope that your date will be the way you want it to be. And please remember, I'm at your service all evening, Mr. Stevens," she said with a flirtatious smile. Amy came in at 6:30 and handed me a t-shirt. Then she smiled and gave me a quick peck on the cheek. "The restaurant is about 3 blocks away, so I thought we'd just take a walk. Would you mind?" Of course, it's a beautiful evening, and I've been sitting all day, so a walk will do me good. Amy took my hand, and we chatted while walking down the street. The restaurant was very nicely furnished, and the service was excellent. We had a great dinner and drank a bottle of wine. I asked Amy if she wanted to go to the dance club, and she paused and tilted her head again. "Mike, what I really want is to go back to your room. I have something I'd like to talk to you about in private. Won't it upset you if we just skip dancing tonight?" My mind was working feverishly. What did she want to talk about? Was I moving too fast? Is this the big rejection? Did I say or do something wrong at dinner? Take me. I really like this girl, damn it. I took a deep breath. Okay, if that's what you want, we can just go back to my room. We held hands and walked back to our hotel in silence. I looked at her, hoping that somehow I could read what she was thinking, but I failed. We got to my room, and I held the door open for her. Earlier, I had grabbed a bottle of wine in the hope that she might join me for a nightcap. She accepted my offer, and I poured the wine. We walked over to a small sofa and sat down facing each other. "Mike, I understand that we don't really know each other since we just met, but I'm very attracted to you. I'm leaving tomorrow afternoon, and we'll probably never see each other again. I know I should just kiss you goodnight and run back to my room, but, Amy, I feel the same way. There's something about you that thrills me every time I think about you. But it's not just lust. I find myself wanting to know everything I can about you. I wish we had a way to be together and really get to know each other. I honestly think it would lead to something special for us. Yes, Mike. But that's the problem. I have someone at home who is important to me. We've been together for a while now, and now I'm so confused. We talked about a future together, but after meeting you, I changed my mind. I know you're going away for 2 years, and we don't have a future, but okay, Amy, I understand. We can just stay here for a while and part as friends. Maybe when my 2-year contract expires, I'll find you, and we can reunite if you're lonely. Amy jumped into my arms and hugged me fiercely. No, Mike, you don't understand. I want you to make love to me. It's going to be our night, and then we'll probably never see each other again. I just have to spend the night with you, or I'll always fantasize about you. It wouldn't be fair to my boyfriend. Please, Mike, just give me this one night, and then we can say goodbye forever. I bent down and kissed her gently, hugging her to me. She answered, and our kiss intensified. I felt myself getting closer, so I pushed her away. She immediately started pressing her back against me. I bent down and grabbed a condom from the bedside table. She kept pressing her back against me. I went out and she rolled over on her back. I rolled off her and pulled her to me. We were both gasping for air, unable to speak. I was sure. I just knew that we were together. It's just fantastic. Oh, Mike, I wish we could just stay here forever. Damn it. It was really incredible. I've never experienced anything like this before. Amy, you are incredible. Suddenly I realized that Amy was crying softly on my shoulder. Hey, what's the matter? Oh, honey, please don't cry. Tell me what's going on. Oh, Mike, I'm crying because I'm so happy to be with you. And I'm crying because I know this will never happen again. My emotions overwhelm me. I'm sorry that I'm in such a mess. I hugged her to my chest. Amy, I know you said we'd never see each other again, but if there's a God in heaven, He'll bring us back together someday. Amy hugged me tighter and cried a little more. Eventually, she pulled herself together and we both fell asleep. The bright morning sun was shining through the open curtains, and I had to squint to look around the room. I heard the sound of running water in the shower and realized that Amy was in the bathroom. I called room service and tried to order breakfast, but they told me that my wife had already called and it should arrive any minute. There was a knock on the door, and a young man wheeled a cart into the room just as I was pulling on my shorts. Amy came out of the bathroom in a fluffy white hotel bathrobe. She did that magical thing that women do, wrapped her hair in a towel. I hope you don't mind that I took the liberty of ordering breakfast for us. No, it's great. I looked at her beautiful legs and the hint of cleavage that the robe revealed before smiling at her beautiful face. What? Nothing. I'm just reveling in your beauty. Heck, look at me. I'm completely powerless around you. Amy looked and saw a huge tint in my shorts and giggled. I'm sorry, big boy, but as much as I'd like to help you with this, I have just enough time to get dressed and then run to my room to catch up with Debbie and Nora. Then she took off her robe and began to pull on her clothes. My eyes devoured her luscious body. You're not helping, you know that. She giggled again. I'm sorry, but I'm really late. I went up to her and pulled her into my arms. I kissed her and hugged her tightly to me. Amy, I will never forget you, and I pray that fate finds a way for us to be reunited. Amy looked up at me. There was a small tear in her eyes. Thank you for giving me the night. I will always cherish our night, but right now I need to go home and have a long talk with my boyfriend. Now I have no idea what the future holds for me, but I don't regret anything. She kissed me hard and then quickly ran out of the room. When the door slammed behind her, I stood numbly, staring after her. I knew that she would always be the one who ran away, and there would never be another like her. A dull despair filled my heart as I sank onto the bed and pulled the covers over my head in a futile attempt to make it all disappear. I spent the next 2 years doing things I didn't really want to do, in places I didn't really want to be. I've met some great guys, and I've also dealt with some top-notch jerks. I don't think I should complain. I have all my parts available, as well as a lot of money in the bank. My plane landed in New York, and I booked a room in a very nice hotel. I had dinner and a drink, and then went back to my room. I took out my phone and prepared to keep the promise I made 6 years ago. I dialed the number and waited. James is listening. Oh, so it's James now. Well, dude, does that mean you're too important to talk to an old buddy? Mike? It's you? How are you doing, dude? Where the hell are you? I'm in New York. I promised I'd call you when I was free, and I'm finally free. Fantastic. When can you come to Ohio? Oh, so much has happened in the last 6 years. We have to get together. Can you come this weekend? You can stay with us. Oh yes, I bought the Henderson house, so there's a lot of space. The Henderson house? That 3-story stone monster on Drexel Avenue? Damn it, this must be the biggest house in town. Yes, it is. I have a really good deal, and I've been working on it for about 3 years. I even set up a swimming pool. Okay, I'll fly in on Friday and call you when I get to town. I can't wait. See you on Friday. I was chuckling to myself when Jimmy passed out. He must be doing well if he was able to buy this house. The house must have at least 8 bedrooms. Hey, wait, he said, stay with us. Did little Jimmy get married? Well, I guess I'll find out on Friday. That evening, I went outside and went to several clubs. I met some pretty hot beauties, but I didn't get anywhere. Nevertheless, I had fun dancing and hanging out. On Thursday evening, I went into a dive bar and picked up a chick about 35 years old. At first, I thought she was married and was going to leave her, but it turned out that she had just divorced. She took me to her playroom. This was all new to me, but I did everything I could without hurting her. I left there around 3 o'clock, and she asked me to come back next weekend. She said I needed to be a little rougher with her, but she thinks I can be taught how to treat her. God. I gave her an assumed name and phone number and left. Maybe I'll stay away from dive bars for a while. Early Friday morning, I boarded my flight to Columbus. It was crowded, but it's a fast flight. I rented a car and called Jimmy. Mike, you're really here. I've taken the afternoon off, so just go. I'll see you in a few minutes. Don't eat it because I bought grilled steaks. I have a lot of tangerine. Is it still your drink? Yes, I still like gin and tonic. I'm in the car right now, so I'll be there in about 20 minutes. I pulled into the driveway of a beautifully maintained old house. My God, it's almost a mansion. I grabbed my bag and headed for the front door. A uniformed maid opened the door and let me in. I stood in the foyer and looked around. A few seconds later, Jimmy pounced on me and wrapped me in a tight bear hug. Mike, you look exactly the same, except maybe a little more shabby than you were when you left. Jimmy, my God, look at you. You're not skinny anymore. Damn it, man. You really have muscles now. Jimmy laughed. I finally got a gym membership and started training. I found that I really liked lifting weights, and suddenly I had breasts and biceps. Well, you're not little Jimmy anymore. Enough about me. Come out. My fiancée and her 2 best friends are dying to meet you. The bride? Are you getting married? Yes, in just 2 months. I hope you'll be my best man. Of course. Now I have to meet a girl who is stupid enough to marry you. Jimmy laughed and led me through the house to a huge terrace overlooking a large swimming pool. 3 ladies were sitting on deck chairs next to the pool. Hey, baby, look who I'm messing with. All the ladies stood up and turned to face me. Nora squealed as her hands flew up to her face. Debbie's jaw dropped and she just stared at me. Oh my God, Amy exclaimed, dropping her glass. I froze in place. I looked at them and was suddenly speechless. Dude, what the fuck? Do you know these girls? I turned to Jimmy. We need to talk. Then I went back to the house. Jimmy caught up with me and dragged me into a small office next to the foyer. Mike, how do you know my fiancée and her friends? I was sweating all over. How do you tell your best friend that you made love to his fiancée? Oh my God, what a nightmare. I looked at Jimmy's face and realized that I couldn't hide anything from him. Jimmy, how long have you been engaged? Almost 2 years. She's a nurse. We met when Dad was in the hospital after a heart attack. I saw her every time I visited Dad, and when he checked out, I asked her out on a date. We dated for about a year, and then I asked this question. Think carefully. Are you sure it's been less than 2 years? Of course, I'm sure. Do you think she would be happy if we didn't celebrate the anniversary of our engagement? We are going on a short cruise next month to celebrate this event. Now tell me what the hell is going on. Dude, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but 2 years ago I had a vacation in Miami. I was staying at the Hilton Hotel, and there was a nursing conference at the hotel. Those girls were there. I met the three of them at a dance club. Jimmy, I swear, I had no idea she was your girlfriend. I mean, I knew she was from Ohio, but we never talked about which hospital she worked at. Besides, even if she had told me about the hospital, I didn't know that your father had ever been to the hospital. You never told me. There's no way I could have known she was your girlfriend. Heck, this can't be happening. Mike, are you saying that something happened between you and her? Jimmy, please remember, she wasn't your fiancé at the time. She said she had someone special, but I thought it was just one of the guys she dated. Jimmy, I'm so sorry, man. We really got along. We talked, and I invited her to dinner. Eventually, we returned to my room, and she spent the night there. Damn, Jimmy, I'm so sorry. Wait. Are you saying you used Nora? Jimmy, I'm like that. Wait, Nora? Is your fiancée Nora? Yes. Who the hell else could we be talking about? Oh, thank God. Jimmy, I never touched Nora. I slept with Amy. She said she had a special boyfriend at home. Then you said you dated for a year before the engagement. I guess I just made the wrong conclusion. Damn it, man. I was dying here. Okay, Mikey. So you slept with Amy and never did anything with Nora, right? I swear, Jimmy, I've never even danced with her. As relief washed over me, Jimmy leaned back in his chair and smiled. So, Mike? Amy? Damn it, dude. She's pretty hot. Nora says the doctors call her the Ice Queen because she always rejects them. I'm guessing that she and the guy she was dating broke up shortly after the girls returned from Miami. Nora says she's only had a couple dates since then. Are you going to start dating her again? My head was spinning. Amy could come back into my life. All the events in Miami flashed through my mind. Then I stopped abruptly. Damn, that first night. These two dudes are taking Debbie and Nora back to their room. Amy said it was the second time in a week. I turned back to Jimmy. He looked at me. What now? Jimmy, we need to talk. The epilogue. I told Jimmy everything I knew about Nora's activities in Miami. He was furious, but admitted that at that moment he had no special arrangements with Nora. He said they became much closer after she returned from Miami. I suggested that he just talk to her about it and clarify the situation so that there would be no secrets between them. She told him the truth about that week and swore that she became completely faithful to him as soon as they talked about marriage. They both agreed to forget about what happened before they got engaged. I work as a freelance salesman for Jimmy. He says that as soon as I get comfortable, he wants me to head his marketing department. I bought a nice apartment, and Amy moved in with me. Our relationship is still very tense. She turns me on hopelessly as soon as I see her. Jimmy and Nora got married as planned. Amy was a bridesmaid, and I was Jimmy's best man. Amy caught the bouquet when Nora dropped it. Now, I have to tell you, I'm not a very superstitious guy, but I bet this is one of the rare superstitions that will work. Soon,